Hello, my name is James, and after a year and a half of searching for a job, I finally got it. I am now a junior developer at Macquarie Bank. So my journey started about a year and a half ago when I left my childcare job, which I've been doing for the past 4 years. It was a very big step for me to make. I was leaving a secure full-time job to try and pursue a passion of programming, which I've only had a little bit of experience with through Udemy courses and a game programming course at TAFE. This was a big step for me as it was, leaving a secure job and stepping into the unknown of not knowing when I'm going to get another full-time job again, just trying to pursue a passion of something that I really enjoyed. If you stick to the end, I'll give you my top 3 tips on how you can make a career change and become a software developer yourself. After leaving, I was doing more Udemy courses, just focusing on some basic programming, languages like HTML, CSS, and basic JavaScript, which really helped learn a lot of the fundamentals that I needed to feel like I could keep going. I then stepped into a bigger role, going into a diploma at TAFE of front-end and back-end development. This focused on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and the backend was MongoDB. This course gave me my first bit of backend experience, which was very much needed, but also gave me the opportunity to collaborate with other programmers in the course. After the course, I didn't really know what else to do, so I was scrolling through Seek to try and find a job in software. Seemed like the right thing to do at the time, but I didn't have the confidence that I needed to really feel like I could get a job in that industry. The opportunity really came when I was going through Seek one day and I came across Knology, which is an unpaid 3-month training program with a focus on making you job ready at the end of it. Seeing Knology was a perfect opportunity for me as it really had the ability to gain my confidence in the areas that I felt weak, while also being able to learn new tech stacks which will help propel me to get a job in the future. Doing this course really helped with one of my biggest issues I was having at the time, which was confidence. This all turned around when some of the students were asking questions that I did know the answer to. This really told myself that I do know the languages and the concepts to answer these questions and to believe in myself that I can do this in the future for a job. The main tech stacks that I learned during my time at Knology were HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript, React, SQL, and Java, which is very much needed as Java is my primary language that I'll be using in my new role. After the training period finished, we went to a period of interview preparation and beefing up our portfolios. This was great for the first 2 weeks as I had a lot of support from the coaches helping me on what projects I should learn next so I could beef up my skills and also to make my portfolio as pleasing to employers as possible. As time went on, it did get a bit hard to try and keep up self-motivation as this was 100% remote at home and try and make up your own hours was very difficult at that time. During this time, some self-doubt did creep in if I'll ever get a job in this industry. This was because I was not hearing any news of any interviews that were coming up and I was just doing the same work day in day out. I did take some days of doing no coding at all just to avoid burnout. Eventually, the patience and persistence did pay off as Knology approached us at Macquarie were looking for a junior developer to join their team. Everyone from the Sydney-based program of Knology were invited to join the group interview. This wasn't coding based at all, it was just meeting the person that was leading the team and also so he could meet all of us and see how we were. I'll give you some tips about that one at the end. Leading up to that group interview, I was still very motivated, so I was doing lots of coding, lots of code walks to get prepared. Even though it didn't have anything to do about code during the interview, I still wanted to be prepared for anything that followed and just to get my skills up during that time. After the first interview, there was a month gap between the first and the second interview. This is as Macquarie weren't sure if I'd take on another employee during that time, so they had to take a lot of meetings to revise and see if it was the right thing for them. Eventually they decided that they could, so they had 2 job openings ready, and they took us all in again for a one-on-one interview with 2 of the tech leads to see how we were in our coding. As I said, the job was for a Java position, so I made a trivia application which was a React TypeScript frontend and a Spring Boot Java backend with an SQL database. So eventually the stage 2 interviews did come around and I met the 2 tech leads. We went through a few basic questions at the start and then they asked if I could present a project that I've been working on recently. This was great as I was able to show off some of the key features of my application. I was able to show them my understanding of Java as well as show them how my thought process works for problem solving. Reflecting on it now, it was a very scary time as I was presenting my code to two tech leads of Macquarie Bank, which is a very big organisation and bank in Australia. And even though this was just an interview, it was still a lot of great experience on how to present code, how to talk about code, how to show my problem solving skills through talking and explaining my code, as well as just learning how to communicate with people that are higher up. A key thing that I did take away was that they are not looking for perfection, as they know you are just going for a junior position. They do want to see a high quality of problem solving and see your thought process towards problems, but they're not looking for the most perfect code and not looking for the most elegant equation to a problem. They're seeing how you think about problems, how you work on them, and how you can achieve a result. After a week or so, I was told that I'd made it through to the third and final stage, and I was asked to come into the city for a one-on-one interview with the head of the team. This interview wasn't for the purpose of seeing how technical I was in coding. That was already done in stage 2. Stage 3 was just seeing if I was a good cultural fit for the team, what I was there for, and what I wanted to get out of having a job at Macquarie. While I was undeniably excited about making it through to this third stage, I was extremely terrified as I knew this was the final stage. This was my last chance to show if I was right for the role and how I could benefit the company. While I was very scared going into the interview, 5 or so minutes into it, I did feel a lot calmer just saying he was a normal person. And he was asking me questions like why I wanted to be there, what value did I think I could give towards Macquarie, what did I want to learn from it, and what were my patterns for problem solving. He himself, about 20 years ago, used to be a programmer for a company, so the scare really came when he put my GitHub onto the big screen and wanted me to present one of my projects from there. This was a shock, but I just had to roll with it as there was nothing I could do, so I chose my trivia application as it was what I felt comfortable with at the time. But as scary as it was a really good opportunity for me to show him, the head of the company, what my skills were, what I wanted to make out of this application, and what some of my problems were and how I could resolve them. A week had passed after the interview and the nerves had really kicked in of if I did get a position or not, as I hadn't heard anything. The change really came when I heard from one of my coaches from Knology saying, "Hey James, do you have time for a call?" And this was extremely scary as I knew this call would go extremely well or extremely bad and I would be sad for basically the rest of the day. Eventually my coach did get down to it and said that I had gotten the position if I'd like to take it. I absolutely jumped at the opportunity and said yes. So now, after all that, I'm waiting for some training packages to start some early learning before I do jump onto the job, and my start date is on the 26th of May. The stress and anxiety of wondering if I'll ever have a job in the tech industry has now dissipated, which has been a massive relief, but I really couldn't have done it without my amazing fiance, my family, and my supportive friends that are around me. But that is about a wrap of my journey of how I became a software engineer, but if you want to stick to the end, I will now share my 3 tips on how you could also do it. Tip 1. Get curious. At the start, my curiosity was very high, so I was asking myself questions like, how do I code? What do I code? And even little things about like, where do I code? Getting curious has the benefit of you learning more about coding and expanding your knowledge. This will help you when learning any new languages quicker, as well as help you in technical interviews when you're asked a hard question. Having curiosity will also show, not just by your knowledge, but also by the way you talk about it, which is something that future employers are really looking for. Tip 2. Practice makes perfect. Yes, it is a classic, but it's a classic for a reason. This tip extends to everything about being a software dev, not just coding. I'm talking about how to read documentation, how to time block, how to talk to other employees, and also how to explain your code effectively. The ways that I did this when preparing for my interviews were by practicing my introductions in front of someone. This helped me to memorize it, but also to filter through the bits that weren't necessary. I also practiced my presentation skills by doing it in front of an actual software engineer. This was a real benefit as he helped show me what areas I should be pinpointing in my presentation and not what areas I was just waffling about to make up some time. Doing the practice for these took up a lot of time and energy. It was definitely draining. There were definitely days that I didn't want to do it, but in the end it was very worth it and very needed. And lastly, tip 3, persevere, persevere, persevere. Getting into this industry isn't a sprint, it's a journey full of ups and downs, and it'll be up to you if you stay on the path or if you fall off on the way. There were absolutely days that I just wanted to stop and go back to my old work, but I couldn't do that. I needed to persevere. Coding is hard, it's challenging, but anyone that has done it can tell you how rewarding it can be. It's okay to have days when you're feeling a bit sluggish. I've had them too. The difference will be if you stop there or if you continue learning, continue growing, continue to tell yourself, I can do this. It's hard, but like anything in life, the harder you work for it, the better it feels when you achieve it. So with that, that's the end of the video. I'd like to thank anyone that has been able to stay to the very end. It's very much appreciated. If you are someone that's looking to get into the web dev industry and would like some more tips or like to chat a bit more, I'll link my LinkedIn down the bottom, you can message me there. If anyone that's interested, my GitHub will also be linked down in the description so you can check out my code and my applications that are there. Thank you all so much for watching. I will be doing another video showcasing my first day as a software engineer, but until then, have a lovely rest of your day. Bye guys.